It's showtime. Yo, what's up, good people? And welcome to the Frank Harris Show, the #1 podcast in the universe. And guess who's back? My boy, Dominican E. What's up, E?
What's going on, Frank? What's going on?
Nigga, wait. Yo, bro, what you doing, bro? I mean, are we doing a podcast, nigga? You getting a haircut? What's going on, bro?
Barbershop talk, baby. Barbershop talk. Getting a haircut while we talking. Yeah.
All right, bro. So don't get too excited when your man end up running the whole part through your whole head.
Nah, my man is nice with it.
Word up. Yo, so E, listen. Today we're gonna talk about a few things. All right. I want to talk about boxing.
Yeah.
I want to talk about basketball. And I want to talk about football, E. Boxing, basketball, football. Let's kick off basketball, right? Training camps are upon us. The trade got consummated. Drew Holiday was the last piece, the last domino fell. Drew Holiday to the Boston Celtics for Robert Williams and Brogdon.
Yes.
And some picks, right? The Blazers got some picks as well. Some first-round picks. E,
Okay. Yeah.
What you think about the trades, bro? What do you think about the trade? The last domino.
Great pickup by the Boston Celtics. Great pickup. The upgrade from Marcus Smart. I think he's a better scorer. I think he's a better defender, obviously. First team all defense. Great pickup. I think this puts Boston the #1 team in the East right now with the pickup.
Yo, hold on. Let me cut it. So you saying you think Holiday's a better defender than Smart?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to hear, because Randy in here always talks about how Marcus Smart is the best defensive player since Sidney Moncrief, right? I mean, Randy thinks, Marcus Smart, and he did have a defensive player of the year, but if you look at it historically and career-wise, I think Holiday's a better defender as well, and is way better offensively. Way better offensively.
I mean,
way better offensively.
19.6 a game last year and 7.3 assists.
Oh, nigga, stop acting like you know the stats off the top of your head, nigga. What, come on, bro.
Just saying. Those are the stats, Frank.
Yeah, this nigga. Hey, yo, we freestyle on the show, right? We not these people with producers in our ears telling us information and we just talking heads. You know what I'm saying? We right off the top for this. We freestyle, baby, because I'm the best at this in the world, baby. Just so you know. But anyway, let me say this. Before I comment on it, I will say that I believe that it may not be done. I'm not sure that Brogdon stays with the Portland Trail Blazers. I think it's still another shoe may still drop because, as we know, Brogdon was upset about playing time in Boston, and now he's going to a team that just drafted a point guard, and they have an incumbent two guard, right, at Anthony Simons. So you got, the two guard in Simons, and then you have a point guard in Scoot Henderson, who's a franchise kind of player. So I think Brogdon may still be on the move for more picks, and it feels like this is an amazing haul of players and picks for just Damian Lillard. I mean, wow. But not just Lillard, right? They gave up Nurkic and some other players as well. So that's not completely true. But Lillard was a centerpiece. But they got back a lion's ransom. If you look at all of the players, right? I mean, from Robert Williams, good piece, DeAndre Ayton, right? I mean, these are guys that you plug and play right away. Okay,
yes.
A lot of picks as well. So I think Portland came out clean, man. Portland came out clean in this trade, man.
Yeah, I believe so too. I think they get a 2024 first round pick that comes from Golden State. They get that pick. They get a future picks, first round pick. So I think my sources have told me yes, Brogdon is on the move.
Nigga, you ain't got no sources, nigga. I mean, what's your sources? Not sources, not SOURCES. Your sources are SAUS. SAUCES. Those are your sources. If my spelling is fucked up. Those are your sources. Sources, barbecue sauce, nigga. Those are your sources. Barbecue or sweet and sour, nigga. You ain't got no sources like Woj. You don't got no SURCESs, nigga. You got barbecue sauce. But anyway, let's go back on topic. So anyway, I think they got a lot of really good players in the trade. And it's funny. Supposedly, Lillard, when he found out that they were not going to be able to consummate a deal to Miami, he asked to come back to Portland because he only wanted to go to Miami. And supposedly the GM in Portland said, no, we don't want you back, right? Because he had done so much in terms of the public demand to be traded, etc. And by the way, I'm with the GM on that. These guys are trying to run these teams, and ultimately this GM said no. So kudos to him. They got a good group of players and draft picks, right, for Lillard. And Boston came out clean too, right? I mean, Boston added a great piece in Jrue Holiday. I'm not sure that I'm willing to say what you're willing to say. I think it's a toss-up in the East right now. Boston and Milwaukee. Man, Milwaukee obviously got Milwaukee got Dame, right, to pair up now with Giannis. I mean, what a starting five. I mean, you got Dame at the one. I'm not sure who you start at the two, right? I mean, you talk about Pat Connaughton or Malik Beasley, right? I mean, probably Connaughton. He's been starting there for a lot of years. You got Chris Middleton at the three, and you add on to those two, Giannis and Lopez. That's a serious five, man. But now, hold on. But Boston on the other side is pretty damn good too now, right? You got Holiday at the one. You got Tatum and Brown. You got Porzingis, if healthy. But by the way, the Porzingis and Robert Williams, both of those guys have always been hurt. But if both are healthy, Porzingis is a better player, right? So you got Porzingis, and then you got your Dominican brother, Al Horford, at the five. The nigga he's like 65 years old, still balling.
You got old man Al.
But Al be doing his thing though. All right, so you saying the Celtics are the best team in the East now?
Yeah, I think the Boston Celtics is the front runner right now in the East. Yes.
Woo, E! If you had to put my feet to the fire, I think I'm a. Whoa! But I think
You gotta go with Boston. You gotta go with Boston, Frank.
Nah, I gotta go with Antetokounmpo because at the end of the game, when I need to get a basket or a block, I'm going with the best player on the court. And the best player in the Boston Celtic Milwaukee Bucks series is Giannis, the Greek freak, Antetokounmpo. So I'm going to give Milwaukee the edge as it relates to what's happening in the Eastern Conference. I still think that the Lakers are the most complete team in the NBA, and I think there are a few teams in the Western Conference better than Milwaukee. But I think Milwaukee is the best team in the Eastern Conference. But I will say this, okay? Great job, Portland upgrading. I told you before when we spoke about this that I thought the Suns got the short end of the stick when they gave away Aiden and for I won't say basically nothing, but not for a lot. I think the Celtics have upgraded nice with two trades, right? I think this Jrue Holiday trade is great, and the Porzingis trade can be an upgrade as well. So I thought the Celtics came out clean, and I thought Milwaukee came out clean too, right? Milwaukee came out clean because now they have a top 75 player of all time in in Lillard, and hopefully they're able to get Giannis to re-sign and re-up for 4 more years and be in Milwaukee. Okay, so interesting trade, and look, the fireworks are just starting. Okay, let's talk about, as we're talking about trades and the fireworks just starting. You see, today. James Harden didn't report, right? They had media day today, and they were flying out to Colorado, the Philadelphia 76ers, for their training camp. What do you think about that, E? He didn't report.
Yeah, I think he's trying to force his way out of Philadelphia. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, Harden. Force your way out of there. The man lied to you. The man supposed to give you the money. He lied to you. Man, force your way out of there. If you're going to show up to training camp, show up fat, not ready to play, I'm all in with Harden not showing up to training camp.
Hey yo, make sure you pay your barber $100 now. Hey, we not charging Washington Heights prices. We not giving $15 haircuts. My man want $100 for the cut at the crib. Come on, man. We not giving $15 haircuts now.
Nah,
stop that.
That's what it is.
Yo, E. But But yeah, I mean, he shouldn't come to training camp fat, because if he's fat, then if I'm another team, I don't want him if he's fat and out of shape.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. All right. So anyway, I just wanted to recap the trade. I think that's one domino to fall. Right. This was an amazing trade with so many different pieces. It was so dynamic with such a high level player. But now, I think, it enhanced the NBA. Now let's shift gears, Okay. So as we're talking about that trade, there was a player involved in that trade, Dame Time Lillard. Okay. And in this segment, I want to ask you a question. Okay. Dame Lillard, great player, top 75 player ever. Steph Curry is a guy that you feel like is the best point guard ever, ahead of Magic Johnson, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And you think he's a top 10 player ever. I think you're tripping, putting him ahead of Magic. I think you're absolutely wrong with that. But anyway, that's not the question. The question is this. If Damian Lillard, okay, had the same organizational structure, players, coaching as Steph Curry had, and with the Golden State Warriors, would Dame Lillard have had a similar career? Because to me, they're very similar players. So is Dame Lillard a product of bad organization, mediocre coaching, not great teammates, whereas Curry had great teammates, they drafted incredibly well, very good GM in Bob Myers, very good coach in Curry, even though Mark Jackson started that, but Curry has done a good job. You got to give him credit. Very good ownership, etc. Right? So would they have had similar careers if Lillard had the same opportunities as Curry?
I don't think they'll have similar career. I don't think Dame would have a similar career as Curry, just because the offense that Golden State runs. Dame is a guy that ball sticks with him. It sticks. He's not moving the ball. He's predominantly just handling the ball, dribble, trying to get his shot off. Where in Golden State, as you know, the ball is moving. Draymond Green being a facilitator.
But hold on. But that. Okay, let me let you finish. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So Draymond Green being a facilitator, where you have to move, where you have to set screens, all these different movements when it comes to the Golden State offense. I don't think Damian would have fit well with that offense and those players. He's a great player, but with that offense, the way they run the offense, I don't think it fits well with Damian.
Well, let me say this. Okay, let me say this. Let me say this. I don't know that the ball sticks with Lillard, right? I mean, I think the ball sticks with Curry a lot too. I think there's more ball movement in Golden State, but I don't know that I think that Lillard couldn't play in that system. If you compare the players, okay? To me, Steph Curry is a better shooter, not by a lot, okay? But Steph Curry is the best shooter ever. But Lillard is probably a top 5 shooter as well, right, in the history of the game, or close to that. So it's close, but Curry's a better shooter, okay? Lillard is a bit stronger, a bit more athletic, better going to the basket, better finishing at the basket, dunking on guys, better finishing at the basket. Probably a little bit more of a pure, neither one of them are pure point guards. So they're probably similar in terms of assists. I think Lillard may be a little bit more of a point than Curry is. And Dame is synonymous with making big shots and showing up big in big moments. Curry's not. Okay? So why do you think, so I guess this is a different question. So you think, minus all the accolades, and you got to give Curry's the better player because of what he achieved, okay? But if you look at them skill for skill, who's better?
Curry's better.
Just skill for skill. Curry's the better player. I acknowledge that.
Skill for skill, Curry's better.
How? Besides being a better shooter, what other skills does Curry do better than him? Run around screens? Nigga, what skill does Curry have better than Lillard?
I mean, Frank, listen. He obviously the greatest shooter of all time.
Okay, we give you that.
That alone should trump every other skill that Lillard got.
So let me tell you. Go ahead. Let me tell you my philosophy.
Go ahead.
Taking nothing from Curry, his situations are what they are, right? People say Wilt Chamberlain was playing against shorter players. It don't matter. He dominated and did what he was supposed to do. Okay. So what I never do is necessarily factor in a circumstance to take away from or detract from the success of a player. So I don't say Bob Cousy couldn't play in this era. So because of that, Bob Cousy wasn't a great player. Bob Cousy was a great player. So with that being the case, or any player, right, in the older era, you look at them comparatively. So what? They dominate in the era. Bob Cousy can't guard Russell Westbrook. Of course not. But Bob Cousy was a great player in this era. Right. But so same thing with Curry. Can't take away from his greatness. He's a better player than Lillard. But I believe philosophically, Curry is a product of a system and a situation that was great from top to bottom, organizationally, coaching. They drafted incredibly well. And by the way, not only did they draft well, they also got great free agents because of the culture. So they got, guys like Kevin Durant, obviously, they won 2 championships with him. A guy like Andrew Wiggins, another guy who came over, he won a championship with them. And we can go on and on and on about the assets and the pieces that they put around him, the organizational culture, the leadership. Lillard has never had any of that. So Lillard is the same player, I think, and maybe even a bit better from an overall perspective. But in Portland, Lillard had not a great organization, no great GM work, no great players to play with. I mean, CJ McCollum is cool, right? But CJ McCollum is okay, right? Never had a great player to play with, right? Never had a lot of great assets. And so ultimately, again, you're a product of your circumstance. It is what it is. But if you look at them player to player, they're very similar to me. And I just think that Curry's career has been significantly better because he was drafted by the right place.
Okay. I mean, I agree with you on that. But I just believe Curry is, again, take away the accolades, take away all the stuff. I just think Curry's a better player. I mean, he brings so much to the table. I think he just brings so much to the table, making other people around them better. So for me, Curry is a better player. Taking away all the accolades, player for player, Curry's a better player. Nothing. No disrespect to Dame. Dame is a tremendous player. But
listen, Curry's a better player. I got to give. Listen, I'm never going to take away from that acknowledgement. No doubt about that, E.
I give the edge to Curry on that one. I give the edge to Curry on that one.
Fair enough. So let's shift gears again, E. Quick takes. We're keeping it moving. Let's switch to college football. College football, right, is up and running. Obviously, we've talked a lot about Deion and Colorado, and college football is great. But now, you're a Deion guy, right? I'm going to say this at the top of this segment. I like Nick Saban, right? Nick Saban to me is the best. I like Nick Saban. So I'm going to ask this question as objectively as possible. Is Nick Saban and the Alabama program on a downward, not spiral, but on the way down from the perch that it sat on for years of dominance and excellence? With Georgia winning the last 2 national championships, other teams coming up, do you think this is the beginning to the end of my guy, Nick Saban?
Yeah, Nick Saban is going down. Nick Saban is going down. He's a dinosaur. It's time to go, Nick Saban. You out of there. Your program is going down. And listen, no disrespect to Nick Saban. He's lost a lot in the last few years. Every year he has to change.
Whoa. Lost a lot. Bro, what are you talking about? Lost a lot? I mean, Nick Saban hasn't lost more than 2 games. What do you mean lost a lot?
What I'm talking about, he lost a lot internally within the program. I'm not talking about losing games. I'm talking about
you mean coordinators getting head coaching jobs?
Yes, coordinators getting head coaching jobs. Switching offense year in, year out. I mean, that takes a toll on a program when you constantly have to change offensive and defensive coordinators. That takes a toll on the program.
They've been doing that before. That was always happening. That ain't new.
And then he ain't got.
Success breeds that, and he kept bringing them in.
He ain't got.
So let me let you finish. So you saying that? Okay, so you saying that? So question: is it they don't have a quarterback this year issue, Or do you think the program, because a lot of people have said that Alabama is no longer the number one program in college football anymore. Everybody's saying Georgia has overtaken them, and the Alabama's on the way down. So let me say this, okay? So first of all, I think Nick Saban's demise is greatly exaggerated. Greatly exaggerated. And let me just say this, and I've said this before when we've had conversations. Your boy Deion Sanders says Nick Saban is the GOAT as well. Am I right? Am I wrong?
They do commercials together, Frank. Affleck.
No, he said he's the man. 60 Minutes, you saw it, and I saw it. Now, first of all, after Alabama lost to Texas, it was this whole big thing about there's no quarterback. Then they won terribly at USF. First of all, Milroe's fine, right? Then they beat Ole Miss, top 15 program, okay? Milroe's fine, okay? Milroe's fine, Alabama's fine, Nick Saban's fine, okay? Is Milroe, did we have the transition that we had in the past when we went from experience in elite quarterback to elite quarterback? No, right? When we had those three guys at one point, when you had Jalen Hurts, you had Tua, obviously, and you had Mac Jones, obviously, who's playing atrocious. And I'm almost embarrassed to say he's an Alabama guy, but my guy Nick Saban, but boy, is he playing bad. But Tua and Jalen Hurts are playing great. But anyway, so is the baton passed to Milroe as smooth? No. But let's not forget, Alabama for years and years and years was a program that won running the football. Let's not forget that.
Yes, they did.
Okay? Let's not forget that.
You're right.
Right. Defense and running the football. Okay? And so we can get back to some of that. We can get back to defense and running the football. And Milroe is developing. Okay? He didn't play great against Texas, but he's a developing player. He's a leader. Right? The question is, can he get us over the hump against a team like Georgia? That I don't know. But what I do know is with the transfer portal, okay, and the prestige of Alabama, if Milroe's not the answer, will have their quarterback back in tow. And by the way, at all the other positions, they have elite players. So let's not act like Alabama is not Alabama.
Okay. So I think this year they're going to struggle, Frank. I think, running the ball and playing defense, that can only get you so far, you know what I'm saying, with the new way the way college football is today. You got the Pac-12 where they're pass happy. You got all those great quarterbacks in the Pac-12. You got, obviously Michigan, Texas playing great. You know what I'm saying? Miami coming along. So you got
Georgia don't have a quarterback.
Georgia, they got a game manager. He's a game manager. He's fine.
I mean, Milroe's as good as he is.
No, the quarterback from Georgia is better, Frank. I mean,
on what premise? They played horrible this year, and he wasn't a quarterback last year. So he's played very mediocre this year. What are you saying? Everybody's saying that Georgia's played terrible thus far. They're just barely eking out wins. So based upon what? The Georgia quarterback is not better than Milroe. Milroe and him they kind of playing each other to a standstill. Let me say this, and Milroe can make plays with his legs.
Yes, that he can do.
Right? The Georgia quarterback, what can he do?
I mean,
except for throw the ball to Brock Bowers.
They got the great tight end.
All he can do is throw the ball to Brock Bowers.
They got the great tight end, and they play stellar defense.
So does Alabama.
Yeah, but I'm giving the edge to the quarterback from Georgia.
Eric, you can't just do that with no factual information.
I'm going Georgia on this one. I'm going Kirby Smart on this
Beck one. I believe his name is Beck. Beck is horrible.
Yeah, but they still got...
He's not horrible, but, I mean, he's very mediocre. And Stetson Bennett ran that team for years. By the way, hold on hey, Randy, is he loud enough?
Yeah, he's speaking into the mic.
Okay. All right. Because I couldn't hear you for a second.
Yeah,
but anyway, we're good. Stetson Bennett was the guy, right? Beck, I don't know. Listen, like I said, Brock Bowers is amazing. I don't know that Georgia's better than Alabama. And I know Milroe can make some plays with his feet. But the bigger question is Alabama is not done, right? They left Nick Saban for dead and watch him rise again. Alabama will stay in the national championship hunt for years to come. Let's stop the Nick Saban is done chant. You talking about he's a dinosaur. What does that mean? He's a dinosaur. What does that mean? Tell me, what does that mean? Because he's been a dinosaur for years, but he's been winning. So it's a new age just now? Tell me, what does it mean he's a dinosaur? Please explain that to me. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Dinosaur. They got ways of doing things now. You got the transfer portal, number one. You got the NIL deals. That's two major factors in recruiting and getting players. Nick Saban is, he's an old-fashioned guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he believes in
No, time out. Hold on, stop. See, this is what I got to correct you when you say things are incorrect. So you said they have a transfer portal and they have NIL deals. That is absolutely correct, okay? But Nick Saban is not Dabo Swinney right over at Clemson, who Dabo Swinney refuses to use the transfer portal. Nick Saban absolutely uses the transfer portal, and he brought in, even this year, the quarterback that started some of the games last year for Notre Dame. He just wasn't good enough. Tommy Rees, the offensive coordinator, was the offensive coordinator at Notre Dame last year. This guy was one of his quarterbacks. He recommended him. The guy came over, and he just wasn't good enough. But Alabama absolutely uses the transfer portal. So that's number one. So don't imply that they don't. Number two, NIL deals. Last year, if I'm not mistaken, and for 2 years, Bryce Young was making over $1 million a year from NIL deals at Alabama. So let's not act like Alabama doesn't utilize the transfer portal and they don't give their players NIL deals. That's false information. Okay, you're giving fake information right now.
Hold on. Let me correct myself. What I'm saying is, he was a guy that wasn't for the NIL deals. He said it was going to destroy college football. He did say that. He said the NIL deal was going to destroy college football. He did say that. The transfer portal, he dabbles in and out with the transfer portal here and there. But he's a guy
they got a lot of transfer players.
But he's the guy, Frank. He's the guy that goes out and gets 5-star recruits year in, year out. That's his philosophy. We're gonna go get.
So does Georgia. So does Georgia, who's number one in the nation. So does Georgia.
But Frank, they don't rely much on the transfer portal. They rely on getting studs year in, year out.
So does Georgia. The only person relying on the transfer portal like that is your boy, Dion, all flash, no win Sanders. I'm not gonna call him that. I'm just joking. Now Dion is doing his thing. Dion doing his thing, and they had a decent showing against USC, surprisingly. But anyway, but let's go back. So first of all, clarify. Nick Saban could have said whatever he wanted to say, okay? But I'll give you another example. Mike Krzyzewski, remember, Mike Krzyzewski, when he was at Duke, said he wouldn't take one-and-done players. But then when Kentucky kept winning for all the best players, Mike Krzyzewski changed his tune, took one-and-done players, and won national championships. So you can't tell me what Nick Saban may have said years and years ago, because he may have said that, but what he has done is adjust to this new climate, and he's gotten players NIL deals and got the alumni and people in the community to give these players NIL deals. So I know what he said, but I know what he's doing. That's much more important. So let's clarify that.
Okay.
All right? Let's clarify that. So you say Nick Saban is a dinosaur. I'm not sure that you've proven that point thus far. All right? And I've given more, I mean, you can just say anything, but I don't know that you've shown me based upon what info Nick Saban's a dinosaur. Based upon no info. Just because he got gray hair?
No.
That he dies?
Listen, every year he gets.
What has happened to make you say that Nick Saban was a dinosaur?
Listen, every year he gets the number one recruiting class. Every year he gets the number one recruiting class, right? And
Georgia's been getting them too. Let's not do that.
No. Alabama, the last few years, has the number one recruiting class. That's facts. Number one recruiting class.
That's not true. That's not true. Last year, Georgia did.
Number one recruiting class. Look it up. Georgia's the number one recruiting class. I mean, not Georgia, Alabama, right? And so Alabama's expected to be in the playoff hunt year in, year out. And for the past few years, they have not been in the playoffs. They've not been in the playoffs, Frank. Last year, Georgia, The year before that, Georgia, SEC
What?
championship.
Alabama was in the year before that. I mean, Georgia won 2 years in a row, but listen. Let me be clear. It's not a demise if you don't win every year. There's nobody that wins every year. I don't care how good your program is. Nobody wins every year. Everybody has a year with a couple of years where no one wins every year. There's no sport. Like, this is not the 1960 Boston Celtics team or the 1970s UCLA Bruins, right? Like, that's not what sports are today. No, the Yankees, no one wins. No one wins every year. You can't say because Nick Saban is not winning every year, the program's going down. You just can't say that.
Frank,
nobody wins every year.
Alabama holds a high standard. Every year for them is national championship.
I understand that, Eric. Okay, let me let you say it. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Every year is a national championship. Every year is a national championship for them guys. Those guys is national championship or bust every year. That's the standard at Alabama. That is the standard. And for them not winning it 2 years in a row, losing in the playoffs, that's not acceptable at Alabama. That's not acceptable.
So you know what that does, Eric? To me, that dovetails into a new question, okay, that you brought up that point. And the question is, are athletic departments unreasonable in their expectations? I'll give you a perfect example. How is Ryan Day on the hot seat, right? Every year, Ohio State is 10-1. Every year they're in the hunt. And people have unrealistic expectations, these ADs and these people. They fire these guys, Eric, like you can't imagine, okay? You look at a guy like Ryan Day, and he's on a high seat at Ohio State. Ohio State every year is a top 5 program, every year. And they always, you lose to Michigan, you beat Michigan, but they're in the hunt every year, Eric. And so that brings another question, and that is, are these expectations unrealistic? Okay, Notre Dame, they supposed to be, national championship level. When the last time Notre Dame won a damn national champion? That's another program I hate, Notre Dame. When the last time Notre Dame won a championship?
Lou Holtz.
Yeah, and by the way, he got his team in trouble. You see, last time he was talking shit about Ohio State, and they beat Notre Dame, right, last week.
Yeah.
They beat Notre Dame.
Lou Holtz, yeah, the old.
But what's the expectation, Eric? Like, is that realistic? Everybody now is running around saying you got to win a national championship, right, at high-level programs. You can't do that.
Yes, it's unrealistic. I mean, some of these ADs are delusional. I mean, listen, year in, year out, you're going to get teams. You got surprising teams every year that come in. 1 year, Cam Newton, when he came in, won the national championship. Prior to that year, Auburn sucked, right? So you got every year, there's always new teams popping up,
crazy
national championships. So these ADs and these athletic directors, they're delusional, right? So, high expectations, that's one thing, but saying we have to win national championships, I mean, that's borderline, insane when you start with some of these ADs.
It's crazy. Like, the expectations, and by the way, a lot of it is not ADs too, right? It's the alumni, it's the trustees, it's the boosters, it's the fan base. It's nuts. I mean, these guys, you got guys that are winning 9 and 10 games every year, okay? You got guys, Jim Harbaugh was winning, going 9-2 most years. You lose to Ohio State, you get fired?
Yeah.
Bruh, come on, man. Honestly, the coaching profession is nuts, especially in college football. I understand college football makes so much money. I understand, how influential I get college football is so important in terms of athletic budgets, paying for all of the sports throughout your athletic programs, throughout your athletic department, excuse me. But man, Eric, the expectation, man, for these guys to win national championships every year. And by the way, Eric, you being contradictory. And let me tell you why. Because you said these expectations are unrealistic, but then you placing them on my man Nick Saban. You contradicting yourself, bro. Because you said all these people have unrealistic expectations for their teams to win national championships every year, right?
Yes.
But you're placing the expectation on Nick Saban. Why are you doing that?
Because, again, Alabama, the AD, the trustees, the boosters, those guys hold Alabama at a high standard. They're delusional.
I guess.
These guys want to, listen.
Yeah, they are delusional, but listen, but don't be delusional. Don't be delusional with them, Dominican E.
Listen, Alabama's a great program. They'll be back. They'll be back.
Oh, wait, say that again. Alabama's a what?
They'll be back.
Alabama's a what?
It's a great program. I got to give it to them.
I like to hear that, baby. We're the best in the country. Year in, and we produce pros, right? We do it the right way. Our guys are great citizens in the community. They become great professional players. I mean, look what's happening. Two of the best offenses in the NFL right now are being run by Alabama quarterbacks. And you try to act like Alabama wasn't a place that could produce quarterbacks. But that's another
Frank,
conversation.
I mean, listen, every program has mishaps here and there. The wide receiver from Alabama just, got convicted for, driving under influence, reckless drive and killed 2 people. So don't say that they, model citizens. Every program has mishaps.
Well, we agree on that. We'll agree on that. But hold on. What's the player's name?
Ruggs. The wide receiver.
Okay. I'm testing you.
Come on.
Eric, let me ask you a question. Who's the best running back in the NFL?
The best one? Oh, come on. He's the front runner for the MVP right now. Who you think?
Who's the best running back in the NFL? Period.
Yes.
I don't want front runner for MVP.
He's
Henry. Derrick Henry.
No, he's the front runner right now for the MVP. And his name is McCarthy.
Derrick Henry is the best. What?
His name is McCarthy.
So you tested me and you can't even get the name right. You played yourself. His name is McCaffrey. That's his name. You played yourself.
McCaffrey.
But so you try to test me and you don't even know the name.
No.
You try to test me and you play. Hey, by the way, E, you played yourself.
No, McCarthy.
But Derrick Henry, Alabama guy.
I get confused. What is it again? What's his name?
I'm not telling you again. You should listen the first time. You played yourself.
McCaffrey.
Yeah. All right, E. So listen. So
right now.
Well, we'll see, right? We'll see. But E, listen. All right, so that wraps up our college football talk. All right. E, I got to make a quick switch to the NFL as we're talking football. Something popped into my head, E, and I have to ask this question. Who is a better coach, E? Bill Belichick or Andy Reid? Bill Belichick of the New England Patriots or Andy Reid of the Kansas City Chiefs? Which coach is better, E?
I'm going with Andy Reid. I'm going with Andy Reid. Yeah, I'm going with him. You know what I'm saying? Bill Belichick, amazing coach. Had he had the best quarterback of all time. Tom Brady.
So why is Reid better? Because by the way, Belichick got 6 rings and Reid has 2.
2. I'm gonna tell you
6-2.
2.
6-2, by the way.
Okay, 6-2. But I'm gonna tell you why.
By the way, just to be clear, I like Andy Reid better. Belichick's the better coach. At some point, you got to the facts are the facts.
Listen, okay.
I like Reid better.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you why. Number one.
Go ahead.
Bill Belichick has never won without Tom Brady. Never won without Tom Brady.
But he won 6 with Tom Brady, though.
Okay.
So I hear you, but he won 6 with him.
When he was at Cleveland, he sucked.
Yep, wasn't very good at Cleveland. Yep.
Sucked in Cleveland. Andy Reid, when he was with the Eagles, took them, I believe, I might be wrong, to 5.
They got to the Super Bowl. They got to the Super Bowl when Terrell Owens threw Donovan McNabb under the bench, under the bus, talking about he was too nervous in the game. But he got him to a Super Bowl.
He did.
And they went to so many conference championships.
That's right.
So he did an amazing job there.
That's right.
And by the way, offensive guru, right? Oh. Probably you can argue, outside of maybe Bill Walsh, and maybe you can argue still even with Bill Walsh, the best offensive mind arguably ever in NFL football. You can argue you can argue that. But Bill Walsh is revolutionary with the West Coast offense, right? With the San Francisco 49ers all those years. But you could argue, you can make an argument that Andy Reid is a quarterback whisperer, right? And one of the elite and all-time best offensive coaches in the history of football.
That's right. So that's why I'm going with Andy Reid. I'm going with Andy Reid.
Okay.
Agree with me, Frank.
So let me say this.
Andy Reid.
Okay. Andy Reid, offensive coach, did a phenomenal job. He showed he can do it in multiple places with different quarterbacks. He did it with McNabb. By the way, he had early success as well in Kansas City with Alex Smith. Right? He had early success with Alex Smith in Kansas City as well. And then he got his guy, Mahomes, and they've been on a magical run, obviously. And Mahomes, when it's all said and done, with a few more championships, he may, the records he will create will be crazy, and he may pass Brady at some point as the GOAT, maybe. But Andy Reid has showed you he can do it in different environments, in different situations. And I agree with you. Bill Belichick has been not atrocious, but not very good outside of Brady. Okay, wasn't very good. Wasn't very good with the Browns.
No disrespect to Bill Belichick. He was under the Parcells umbrella. You know what I'm saying? He did win with Parcells, the Giants, maybe. So.
But Tom, he was a coordinator. Though. He wasn't a coach. He was a coordinator. He wasn't a head coach. Coordinator, right?
He was a coordinator. He was defensive coordinator.
Great defensive mind. Great defensive mind.
Yeah.
Right. And by the way, I mean, obviously, coach, the great Lawrence Taylor, great defensive coordinator, right? But look, wasn't very good with the Browns. Won 6 with Brady though, and then since Brady left, same thing, not very good. So outside of Brady, Reid has showed that he can win in different environments where Belichick hasn't with different players. But at the end of the day, you can't usurp 6 rings. Yeah. Like if Reid had 4, maybe, but 2 to 6 is hard to say that Reid's a better coach. If you said Walsh with more rings, but 2E, and now if Reid gets to 4, I think it's a conversation. But I'm not sure that Reid at 2 passes Belichick on the all-time great list with 6. And by the way, this is part of the conversation that we had earlier about Curry, right? The circumstance is the circumstance, right? Curry was blessed to be on the Golden State Warriors. Bill Belichick is blessed, right, to have Brady. And by the way, Robert Kraft and a great organizational structure that allowed him to create the Belichick way.
That's right. The Patriots way.
So I like Reid personally better, but I got to go with Belichick because men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie, bruh. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie.
I'm going with Andy Reid.
What?
I'm going with Andy Reid. I'm going with Andy Reid on this
one.
Fair
enough. Fair enough. All right, well, listen. I got one last topic. We got to talk about boxing, baby. We had a quote unquote supposed big fight this weekend. Canelo, Charlo. Oh, what a yawner! First of all, Charlo. Both of them Charlo brothers are overrated. Number one. Number 2. By the way, Canelo's great, but man, I hate watching Canelo fight. Right? Oh, he's such an annoying. But listen, all-time great. Okay, but I'm not a Canelo fan. But again, you got to respect him. He's a great boxer. Floyd kicked his ass, obviously. Bavoli beat him recently. I thought Triple G, won 2 of those fights.
Yes,
they jerked Triple G.
I believe those 2 of those
right?
fights.
Let's keep it a buck now. I know, but Triple G should have won 2 of those fights. But Canelo was the bigger draw, right? He's Mr. Boxing. He's worth more money, and so he got those decisions. But they jerked Triple G in 2 of those fights.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, so, with that being the case, would you agree with that? With Triple G?
I'm not a Canelo fan. Number one, I think Triple G did beat him 2 out of those 3 fights. I think one was a draw, I believe, and I think he won that fight. Triple G won that fight. So I mean,
the Canelo got one. Canelo won the other. Canelo got 2, huh?
What's that again?
The Canelo, one was a draw that Triple G should have won, and then Canelo won one that Triple G should have won.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So with that being the case, what's the new big fight? What's the fight that's out there that you want to see, right? Because boxing for me is like I love boxing, you know that, but I'm falling out of love with boxing because I'm seeing it's so much about the money, right? Al Haymond's fighters won't fight Bob Arum's fighters, right? The different promoters, and then Eric, fighters don't fight each other, right? So we used to watch Muhammad Ali used to fight everybody. Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler. I mean, we came up in the era where boxers fought. People fought each other, dog. These guys don't fight each other. The fights are not spectacular. And then let me just say this last piece. Because of the money involved, the judges and the people judging these fights, it's terrible, Eric. If you saw what happened in that Haney fight against Lomachenko destroyed Haney. But Lomachenko was an old guy, right? And Haney got the W because Haney's the younger guy with more flash and more upside potential. Lomachenko worked his whole career to get that title fight, and they jerked him, Eric. He won that fight against Haney. Is that right or wrong?
Nah, I'm not agreeing with you on that one.
Eric, are you kidding me? Bruh.
Nah, I'm not agreeing with. Listen, it was a great fight. But people just see the latter part of the fight when Lomachenko was coming on. But those early rounds, Devin Haney was connecting to the body, getting inside, sticking and moving. He was winning those early rounds. Now the later part of the fight, Lomachenko was coming on.
Eric, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. Every commentator, every talking head, everybody was so if Haney won the early rounds, cool. The judges gave him some of the later rounds, which he definitely didn't win. You know that.
Yeah, there was one judge that gave him there was one judge.
Yeah, but the problem is this is happening too much in boxing, right? You see guys that prepare their whole lives for this moment, and then you can't jerk them, bro.
I agree.
It's terrible. But anyway, what's the fight you want to see now?
I want to see Tank and Shakur. That's the fight I want to see. That is the mega fight. That is the next big fight. Everybody is anticipating this fight. Let's make it happen. Let's go. Let's get ready to rumble. That's the fight everybody wants to see. Let's go. Let's go.
Eric, that's not the fight everybody wants to see, number one. And number two, if I'm Tank, why would I fight Shakur? Shakur don't bring no fans to the table. He too young. By the way, great fighter, great young fighter. From a skill perspective, the next one, okay? But he has fought nobody thus far, number one. And number two, he's not a draw yet, okay? Tank is 100% the complete draw on that card, right? Listen. And by the way, hold on. And by the way, not only is it such a disparity in terms of superstar power, Tank is at a whole different world than Shakur. But the other issue, Eric, is if I'm Tank, Shakur is so good, he could possibly win. So why would I take that risk against a lesser guy? If I'm gonna fight, at least I'm gonna fight somebody that's at the same close to me in terms of popularity, and so the fight can make more money and be bigger. You looking at it from a boxing purist perspective, that's a fight you want to watch as a boxing purist. But how does that make sense for Tank to fight the young upstart guy that's really good?
Listen to what I'm saying. From a boxing purist like myself that has been watching basketball.
Well, I don't know if you're a boxing purist, but you like boxing. Let's not say you're a boxing purist like yourself. Let's not. We're not co-signing that nonsense. We're not co-signing that. But okay, go ahead.
So again, I've been watching boxing for a long time. So with that being said, this fight would have to be absolutely on on Tank's end, because Tank is the bigger draw. He's the A-list fighter. He's the one that draws the most, right? So it have to be something that he wants to do. I'm just saying, for me, that's the fight I want to see. But Tank has to make that decision, and I don't think it's going to happen. Like you said, Tank is the bigger draw. Why would he risk fighting Shakur? It don't make sense.
Because Shakur is too damn good. Yeah. Shakur is too good. And by the way, he's so good. Haney running from him. All the shit that Haney made and the father want to talk, he don't want to see Shakur. That's the fight you should see, right? Because they both still on. Look, Haney's a little further ahead, but they two young fighters on the come up, right? That's the fight. That's the fight that you want to see. Two young, flashy kids, not kids, but young men, right? That's if I'm Tank. You know what I'm saying? Why take that fight? I don't know why take that fight.
Let me ask you this. I think that fight, the Shakur Devin Haney fight, I believe that's a great fight. But you also got to figure in what's the weight, what they're going to fight at. That's number one. right? Because Shakur is what one. He just moved up from 126 and not 128. Now he's 135 or 130. I believe he's 135, 130 in that. So I think what's the weight class? Because Devin Haney's not going. He's not going back down to 135.
Yeah, but Shakur can get up to 142 or something like that. He can get up there.
So what are they going to fight? They got to fight out either 140 or 147.
What at a $140?
At a $140. Okay. All right. I mean,
Shakur can get there.
Yeah, Shakur.
And Shakur is not a skinny guy, Eric. He's a strong young man.
Yeah.
And by the way, he's saying that it's been hard for him to make weight the last few fights, and he's a young body, so his body's gonna put on weight. He can take more weight.
Yeah.
So because look, you know what I wish, I wish there was a better fight. The guy that I like to watch fight is Bud Crawford. Errol Spence shouldn't have fought Crawford. Errol Spence is done. I hate to say it. After the accident, he's never been the same. Right? He beat Sean Porter. He beat some mediocre guys after the accident, but he's never been the same. And I feel sorry that he's still fighting. I get it, you're making the money, but he's a shell of himself. And it's a shame because pre-accident, he was the guy. Yeah. He was the pound-for-pound best guy in boxing, and he was the superstar in boxing. Okay? And Crawford annihilated him. It hurt my heart to see what Crawford did. Yeah. Crawford is a superstar. That's right? I wish there was a fight out there for Crawford. Huh?
That's who you got? I got my man Boots Ennis. That's the guy. That's the guy.
Yeah, he's a bad boy. Boots is a bad boy.
Boots is my guy. Boots is my guy.
That's but the problem, Eric, again, is he don't bring. I mean, you got to bring something to the table when you talk about these big fights.
I understand that, but
you got to bring something to the table.
But Frank, from a boxing perspective, we're just looking at boxing. We're looking at it just from a box. Boots is the guy, Frank. My man Boots is the guy. Shout out to Philly. Boots is the guy.
Bad boy. Let me ask you a question. Boots is amazing, right? But let me ask you a question. Does Crawford try to jump up 3 weight classes to fight Canelo?
No. That's going to be too much for Crawford. Too much.
I agree. That's too much.
Too much
yeah.
For Crawford. Too much
I agree.
For Crawford.
I mean, he won it. He's saying he won it, but I don't think he really won it. Yeah. But jumping up that many, by the way, that hurt Canelo, right? Jumping up too many weight classes.
Yeah. And also too, Crawford, be careful, Crawford, because you out there talking, you want to move up to 154. Be careful. There's a lot of be careful. I like Crawford, but be careful. You got some bad boys.
Yeah, but nobody at 54 can beat him.
54? I mean, you still got the Charlo. You still got Charlo there.
Hey, the Charlos. I mean, look. I mean, Crawford destroyed the Charlos.
You got Benavidez.
Tough.
Benavidez.
But I mean, tough.
It was a good fight.
It was
a good fight.
Benavidez. That's the best fight at 54. So, the question. We again, man, we watched. Look, Ali was before our time, but we got a chance to see guys like Larry Holmes, guys like Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? We got a chance to see guys like Lennox Lewis. We got a chance to see a lot of great heavyweight fighters, right? We can keep on going. Riddick Bowe, the Klitschko brothers. Man, we saw a bevy of amazing heavyweight champions. It used to be great to be heavyweight champion. It's a shame that division is so terrible right now. I mean, I don't know what other way to describe it.
Yeah, there's no other way to describe it.
It's horrible. It's terrible. I mean, Fury is fighting Usyk. Who cares about that fight?
Yeah, it's terrible, Frank. That heavyweight division. I mean, that was a division everybody wanted to see, right? You had Mike Tyson knocking everybody out. You had Larry Holmes. You had Riddick Bowe. You had all these great champions. Now
the Klitschko brothers, Lennox Lewis. I mean, we had a lot of great heavyweights.
Holyfield.
Yeah, the real deal Holyfield. Holyfield.
Who are these guys, man? You got the Mexican guy. What's his name? Ortiz. I mean,
that guy looked like he just ate 84 taquitos before the fight. I mean, come on, E. Yo, come on, E.
Yeah,
you can't even bring his name into the conversation. You got to talk about Anthony Joshua, who's overrated. He's no good. You got to talk about Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King, right? You got to talk about him. You got to talk about Deontay Wilder, right? Deontay Wilder, the one-hit quitter. But the problem with him is, he's just too wild. And you got Usyk. So you got the Fury-Usyk fight coming up. Everybody's been waiting for that fight. We'll see. But it's a shame the condition that the heavyweight division is in, because the heavyweight division notoriously, from the great Muhammad Ali, and you can go on and on and on, Joe Louis, George Foreman. If you really want to go deep, man, what a shame that the heavyweight division, which usually was, look, the middleweight division was great when you had Hagler, Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard was there with Roberto Duran. Like when those guys are fighting, Eric, that was a hell of a time, right? And then Floyd had a moment, even though Floyd is the reason why the game is the way it is right now, too, right? Floyd ducked everybody till he got old, then he fought. He fought Pacquiao late, you know what I'm saying? He fought people old, but Floyd was about his money. He did what he did, but he changed the game. But anyway, that's another topic. But yeah, so that's the fight you want to see is Shakur versus Tank. If I'm Tank, I don't make that fight.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to see it.
If I'm Tank, I don't make that fight.
I just want to see it from, like I said, from a basketball, football, from a boxing purist. I just want to see that fight. I want to see that fight, but it's not gonna happen because everybody's ducking. It's ducking season, so everybody's ducking each other. So, but I think the fight.
I want to see Haney Shakur. That's the fight I want to see. Young guys. I want to see them two guys because they came up together. They sparred when they were young. They're both young and brass, right?
Yeah.
They're young, brass. They represent young hip hop culture today. You know what I mean? Tank does too, but Tank is still a vet. Tank's a little bit older. You know what I'm saying? So that's the fight I would like to see. I wish Crawford had somebody to fight that was good. Tank's last fight was terrible against Garcia. Obviously I knew Garcia was no good. He was a TikTok, a YouTube guy, right? I mean, he's a YouTube guy. Right? He was a YouTube. He wasn't a guy that was a boxer. He wasn't ready for that. I'm gonna tell. But let me tell you, I wouldn't mind seeing somebody fight Teofimo Lopez.
Oh, I like Teofimo. I liked him in his last fight.
Yes.
Fight. He showed.
A motivated Teofimo's toughy.
Yeah, he showed.
A motivated Teofimo is a tough fight.
Yeah. He when he fights the way he fought the last fight, I think he's very hard to beat. That's one guy that I give him credit. When he fights the way when he fought the other guy, his last fight, if he fights that way, he's very hard to beat. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't get a lot of credit. I know he's going through a lot right now with his baby moms. I wish him well on that. But I mean, he's a hell of a fighter. Teofimo's a hell of a fighter. People sleep.
Is he a guy that you want to see Tank fight?
Whoa, yeah, that's a good fight. That's a good fight,
right? I mean, is that a fight? That might be a fight. They're both vets, right? They've both been in big fights, right? I mean, Lopez has been in big fights, obviously. That could be something of interest.
Yeah, that's
I thought Lopez was a bit overrated, right? He won the big fight. I thought he was overrated. Then he said he was taking some time off. Then he's come back and he's looked really, really good, right? And I think he can box, he can fight, he can brawl. I think that's a fighter that I would like to see fight Tank potentially.
Yeah, but
that's another potential fight.
Like I said, Tank is a guy that right now he's on top of the game. He can pick and choose who he wants to fight, and it'll still be a big draw. It'll still be a big draw because Tank is Tank. You know what I'm saying? But those are the fights that we want to see as fans, as boxing. Purists like myself, those are the fights we want to see. I should be commentating that, by the way. But anyway, that's another story.
Man, listen. Yeah, that's definitely another story. Listen. As always, right? Great banter, conversation. Yeah. It's great having you on the show.
Yeah. Thank you.
I know. We got to give you customary Dominican shout outs. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So we're ending now. Would you like to give your Dominican shout-outs?
Let me give my shout-outs just to one phenomenal baseball player as we get ready to enter the playoffs. My man, Ellie De La Cruz. Phenomenal.
That's a bad boy. That's a bad boy, E.
Phenomenal season. Right? Has electrified baseball, right? Fans that want to come out and watch the game now. Whenever he's playing, he does something so spectacular. I mean,
every time, E. Playing the shortstop position, tall, throwing the ball to first base 100 miles per hour, stealing bases, hitting home runs. Big up for that shout out because that's a bad boy.
Big up to my man Ellie. And he's from
from my
hometown. He's from my hometown. So Big shout out.
Nigga, your hometown is Washington Heights, New York. Man, you ain't from your hometown, man. Your hometown is Washington Heights, New York.
Back in the alley from my hometown.
I bet you the Dion more than you.
Ellie De La Cruz. Big shout out.
Bad boy, though.
As we get ready for the playoffs, Major League Baseball
Bad
playoffs.
Boy.
Big shout out to Ellie De La Cruz.
Too bad he ain't in the playoffs, but very good player.
Yeah.
All right, E. Well, listen, man. Good having you. We'll do it again soon.
No problem. Thank you. Hey, before we get off, remember, subscribe, like, and share. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. All right, good people. We out.
We out.
We out. The Frank Harris Show. Let's go.